Setting calculations, recognition of timelines, infinity cycles, high stamp position locations, all over wolves. Rotation spin cycles, high generation streamlines, allocate line interference, and position probe locations. Systematic line interference, quadrant line position location, all wolf channels. Operation signals and set locations. Really recognize what is going on with your line position, your body. The first thing that you go through activation line setting to understand its remembrance and understand the inner child. The inner child has to truly understand its light signature locations, high system. It's all levels of incorrelated line interference. You have to really recognize the communication inside of you. As of today, in communications, the set lines and the communications, you guys are going to be rebirthed in communications to your inner child, to set locations, to its rainbow child, to its indigo child, to its rainbow warrior in position of directions. 3 cyclones line setting in 3 set locations, and 2 tethers, 1 position of the sun and 1 position of the moon. Center calculation line setting, ground line rotation interference, going down into a realm, into a portal. Okay, we're going to go into the astral fields. Okay, you guys are going to be in the center line position to your line communications of your pods. You're going to see yourself in your pod, and you're going to see yourself. Understand what an indigo child is the recognition line connections to purity. The purification has to recognize its timeline, sequence, location. This allocates you in position locations coming into one line setting. That's 1 tether and 1 rotation location. This positions your line connections to your set locations. Electrical lights, electrical panels, line positions, commanding settings, consoles, calculations, streamlines. The set lines at high position locations are going to take you guys out of your pods and get in position locations to your timeline sequence, putting your position locations to all levels of indigo location. Particle streamline sets, high lines, high center interference, put you in a particle switch. That particle switch is going to be in position of a 48 channel stream. That stream is going to be a line connector that sets position of its clocking system that puts everything in position of traction. Now, when you are in a 3-dimensional line, you're in a 12-line signal of a clock. Okay, got past the position of the 24 ground setting of clock line connections. You have to understand the importance of 12-line signals and 12-line setting in barometer locations. Center calculation is all levels of space and time. Through the center calculation is pi. Recognition locations is over pi. Correlation line conditions in position of power over equal lines connections high system. The equalizer and line setting and line communication line stream is set position location of its directions. 1 central line connection puts everybody in position to its location setting. Full levels of consciousness, putting you into higher levels of higher line connections to a light body, into higher calculations, into a particle stream that puts everybody in position location to its God particle of its God. Okay. It all measures and scales in line communication system. This brings everything back into all levels in position locations to E equals MC squared. That's where we all started off in correlating line interference. The recognition is all levels of its higher self. So you're a full process line connection in a 7-line position of bodies of water and 5 of the atmosphere line center and full correlation system of consenting adults in set line positions. But your mind is its indigo child. That's the process that we're all coming into. So setting position is purification. And that purification opens all line position locations into your positive setting. Really recognize your positions to your mechanisms and all levels of travels puts you in position locations and increments. Line connection, line interference, line position of sky grids, line and line rotation interference, calculation settings. But in position, you're going to be in a 40 clocking setting. First time in track locations as yourself as an indigo child. Okay, spacing line is communications already set up location. All right. So as we set that up in set locations, right, we start with 1 line setting. Now that 1 line setting sets position locations. Now we go into line communications, but before we get into the infinity, you guys are going to go in recognition line connections into line connections at all levels. Now we're going to ground the setting, space lines, anomaly line rotation interference. So the center calculation is going to look like this in set location, right? But the inner line setting is going to be in position location, the center line. Okay, so it's going to be like this in correlation line position of pi, center calculation system. Okay, so in set line and position locations, you're going to go in this position locations. Okay, that's how you guys are going to go, right? So you come in this line center and one track locations in airline center in a full rotations into 3 circles in set locations. Okay. So what's going to happen is there's going to be 3 portals up, 3 console calculations stargates, 1 center line position. Okay. In set location, past line setting. Okay. You got an infinity cycle in line position. So we got 3 track lines of stargate communication settings. Right. See the above location. All right, so you guys are in position at all levels. You start at the ground line interference. Conscious line settings, 100 line position, percentage line position equal locations of pi. This is going to reckon line position of factor and puts everybody in line communication to its rainbow line center line position locations, indigo line in line rotations to its rainbow line position locations to correlated line interference into its C pi location. All right. So when you go through the high setting, you're going to go through Fibonacci swirl. Setting correlation system, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There you go. You're inside. Center calculation is inside position location of track lines. All right. The recognition line interference is 100 positions over pi. Correlation system is 1 sector. Now that 1 sector is going to put everybody in line communication setting in high position of track lines. We're going to go into the astral fields. Now the astral fields is set line position location track lines. Now, when getting that line of rotation interference, it's swirling in rotation system, like this location. All right, do you see that? Position locations, right? All right, so in line communications, you're downshifting line setting. Okay, so what's happening? It's circling in position. All right, so there's 3 line communications. All right, you got the grounds of space, you got the powers of recognition, and you got the atmosphere's line setting in set locations, in set position. All right, so we're going to set lines of communications in the rainbow line setting. You're going to see yourself in the inner child line interference, light signatures in position location track interference. Rainbow equals line center locations in position. Now across the signal locations, hot levels. Line connecting high position locations puts you in illumination graph lines into purity of purification. Setting border line interference, line track lines in position location console line position. Initiate run program location at 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blast off. All right, you guys are setting signal. All right, so in line interference, you guys are going to go through past channels, line position, present position, and future adaptation line system. Present over line communication, inline connection, eye system. Sending line interference, inner child. Releasing communication of 1% to 100% line communications, high system. Rainbow child, indigo line interference into rainbow warrior. Sending line communication, high system, into perception line connections. Setting correlated line interference location high center in circle line rotation, circle line rotation, circle line rotation, circle line rotations. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 line, 7 line position of 5, 5 line position of 6, 6 position location of 7. Line communication, circle line and rotation of theta box line interference, the track line position location 20, you need track line position of track locations. Done by equation. All right, so you guys are surfacing right now. All right, so you're in the astral fields. So it's going to feel a little bit weird. You're being reborn again. But the light body is now into a rainbow graph line that's in position locations into a 48 track line that's in a 48 graph line position of a clock line that's in location to its set lines of a 48 window line that's in track locations into the indigo system location of track system. To get you in your infinity cycles of Dharma, to set line communication system, looping tracks and high line interference to GPS lock line centers put you all position locations to your infinity cycles. That puts you into the center operation locations into Hall calculation. Okay. 1 provision line interference, line track location infinity. Now the infinity line rotations has 2 circle line rotation interference. Okay. 1 track lines in position this way, 1 track lines across things of this way locations. Now, the line communications, the infinity line center line in position comes into a black hole. Resistance in set lines of communications to a circle location setting. All right, so it circles line in central locations. Right? Opens another wind graph line stream in set location in the opposite system location position of traction. That traction sets line wind factor line position locations high setting. That opens a line position locations into a core line center of the center operation line setting. That positions to another security position line travel, another open signal and line position location, and infinity system position of track lines, and a theta line rotation interference, and all position location calculations to another open window in a 4 to 8 clock in rotation setting and position location of traction, done by equation. All right, so as a 48 window is open, the position of the rainbow line is set up position of track lines. So in position locations, line communicate line interference, set position. Okay, so that's 100% line connection. Okay, so we bracket that locations, all right? 100 line setting. Okay, so in position locations comes into rainbow. Equals rain line setting, line position locations. Let's just go rain sets into all levels. And then we go line communication indigo. Now the indigo line interference changes line communication settings. This position locations to your box line, your T reception line communication, new theta line interference into all position. This opens up another ground line setting to a new Merkabah position location, high set interference, in a circle line rotation position. Travel calculation line setting and set position at all levels. Now the rotation spin cycles puts everybody in line communications. So you come into a line communication into physical line valve, disappears. Setting position location into the rainbow, crosses signal. Line communication indigo, lights up your body, set line position. Indigo child line setting into rain communication line centers a warrior. Okay. So kitting connection of warrior setting sets line connection all levels, orb line rotation into seed pod correlations, streamlines and set location settings, done by equation. All right. So that is set up position location track lines. So the resistance in line channels is an operation signal that sets line communication to its position of programs. So we have a constant line rotation of a galaxy shift line that sets position location in the opposite circle line rotations into position of two set location. Setting position location high center line interference in set location to one line setting. Now the rotation spin cycle sets line communication. So the indigo child set location settings in here travels line connecting in set locations. All right. So right through set locations, down by equation. All right. So travel recognition line setting is really understand how to set it up through scales. Now you got two scale line setting, set position locations. Let's set that up. Two scale line setting. All right. Recognition line setting and position location attraction, see the intelligence. Setting correlations in position location high center. Now one position location, two position locations online. Now the three line center sets line rotation into four lines in 5, in position of 6, in position of 7, in position location 8, because you're in 48 settings, right? So recognition line conditions, walking surface into 8 triangle set lines in high position location high setting, and a walking surface in rotation to its position location of tracks. Now the line connections of its indigo child opens up a higher line position of the track line into position location higher level setting. Crop circle line interference, crop circle line position, crop circle operation, crop circle line connection, crop circle line interference, in position of traction, crop circle line setting and high position locations into 48 infinity cycle line connections. Now recognition line setting is all levels of correlating line interference. Zip, zap, zoom, up position location moon, zip, zap, zoom, up position location the moon, set location high setting. All right, so you have 12 DNA track lines, it's changing direct locations. So back into the infinity cycle line rotation. Setting direct line settings into split locations into high lines of space and position of time. Setting calculation line interference. All right, so taking an indigo line interference, set location, location line, center location, rainbow line interference, location of warrior line interference, line position of 0, 0, 0, 0, 4 line settings, 1, 2, 3, 4. Set communication of circle line rotation interference, dimension line connections, all levels of travel. Now line communication comes in the line lines of left, line position location right, center line position, hemisync, center correlated line interference, and Fibonacci swirl and line position location, projector location setting. Putting position line connections all levels and heights in line position location trap and in line rotation position location calculates high stream. Setting 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 line setting position, 4 line position of ground lines. So you got ground line interference, you got position location operation, high center locations. 4 lines position of 8 and line position 4 equals 8 position locations, 4 line setting, high position locations. 48 channel line interference, infinity cycle line position locations, all levels of Dharma calculation stream. Done by equation. All right. So now you're in position locations to all levels. Okay. Surfacing to calculation system from rainbow to indigo to all levels of rainbow warrior. Now, the warrior sets line communications in 3 valves. 3 valve correlation systems is a 3-door set lines in communication. Crossing signals and set lines of a walking surface and set location to another position location high setting. It gets more complicated when you go into more levels of future line setting. High setting position location UFO and set locations, travel lines into scan lines of stream lines. Setting direct line setting and line interference in one tube and location setting. Line connecting is really important stuff because now position locations in indigo child, setting line positions, crossing signals, jumping cross line streams into the rainbow warrior, sets line position locations through DNA track line connections. So as it goes line interference, it goes down the slide and a 6 line in position locations, down in set locations to its set lines into its position of track locations. Okay, down by equation. All right. Now, as that's set up, you guys have to recognize more levels of your settings, more levels of mind adaptation to its position, location, track lines. This is where we come into all calculations and barometer checks. We do navigation streamline settings and position location opens all calculation line interference. This redirects line communication settings to time sequence locations. This opens up higher levels of channels, okay? Orb channel line rotation interference to 2 constant line rotation interference and high set position location, high setting. Puts position location high, set line interference, and track locations. Now, the line connecting high line interference location is position location 1 UFO, 2 a UFO, and 3 set on the ground line setting rotation. Setting position of scan lines and 2 set lines and high position location, high setting crosses signals and line position, down by equation. All right, so in position location track lines, so what's happening now is that the indigo child is starting to recognize its timeline. So once it recognizes its timeline, it stays in the center operation location of Dharma, setting line communications. So you got infinity loop here, infinity loop here, infinity loop here, infinity loop here. Remember I was telling you how you come in infinity loop line interference and creates a planet communication line setting high location level system? Well, this is line communicating high setting the position, right? So getting in that line interference, you got a planet surface locations, right? So it's in Jupiter line connections and 2 strip location settings, okay? Setting correlation line position locations in position location to its high setting locations, down by equation. All right, so the 8 infinity cycle is now set up to Dharma. Dharma sets up a line communication rotation spin. It fits position location high setting. This opens all line communication system. This puts position location high line interference locations to your indigo child to its rainbow warrior. All right. The center calculation is all set up now. Okay. So as we take that, we take the infinity cycle line interference, equivocations on all levels, into indigo line interference, into rainbow calculation string. We start there, right? Now the rainbow line center line position location sets a rainbow line communication of 12 DNA track lines and high center position location all levels. That opens all line positions to another portal correlation to center line rotation interference and travels the opposite direct location setting. So it sets up its timeline into its center operation. Center operation line streams its slits lines and 3 line interference, 3 position locations, and 3 travel line communication setting. That puts it in a triangle into a pyramid set location high setting to another position locations, all levels, in a crop circle location setting, down by equation. All right, so the infinity cycle is now set up line interference at time sequence locations. Now, the position direct location is true to stand the opposite circles. Now, the opposite circle is 1 line setting, planet interference location of 12. 12 line center lead lines low location of 11 underscore 11 underscore 12 line setting underscore 001 underscore line interference is 001 alpha line position locations of delta calculation stream lines and position locations of mega line interference line position of travel line position location 12 DNA track location settings, down by equation. All right, the course line, channel line, stream lines, position locations, crossing streams, high line setting, high position location calculating line interference. Putting position location and direct location settings now. 3 central line settings, 3 equal locations. Started off locations in the inner, started position locations come into all system to the rainbow, child line communications into set location into the indigo, line communications to its rainbow warrior. Setting line interference and set locations to all level system to its track locations. All right, so that's done by equation. Now, understanding the 3 sets and set lines and 3 set locations equal lines of 0, 0, 0 gets more complicated because it's getting more position location high setting. The indigo line interference is now in my adaptations of the hardware line communication setting. The simulation line rotation sets position locations to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 and 7 line 7, 7 line is 8, and track location to 1 line barometer line rotation into a swirl into 3 set locations. Now 3 set line connections come to another 6, another half pipe that crosses streamlines in set location in its division locations. Done by equation. All right. Now, recognizing who you are is recognizing your lights and who you are through provision to understand how to use it through your calculation line settings. Your infinity cycles are set up. Okay. So in position line settings, we have the infinity line rotations. That's in a loop in set locations, right? But we got 2 panels now. Recognition line connections of 2 atoms in center locations. All right. So the center line communications of the cross streams sets line position location up lines and position location in pyramid line rotations into highest center location and position of traction. Now the track line sets line position location into a solar graph line stream, sets line position location into one signal into another operation system, puts the center operation correlation line setting. That opens all line position locations. So that's 4 channels of streamlines in 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, setting position locations. Now, once you come into that line interference, you come into 4 line calculations to set lines into high setting into high position to its correlation. Done by equation. Now, getting to measure lines and communication lines, really understand how to use it through all calculations, all right? So this is where you have to really understand how to use the clocking system in position locations to its 48 center lines of 72 set locations, right? So it's a 48 channel. Now that's where it comes into 0, 1, comes into 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 4, 0, 5, and get them at 0, 6, 0, 7, 0, 8, 0, 9. Setting line interference in position locations. So instead of going from 10, you go into 0, 1, 0. Then you go into 0, 1, 11. And then you go into 0, 1, 12 location. Okay? So now the 40 clock line setting setup location is sun. That sets position location to high setting. Sun is their rotation. Moon is set in position of center to rotation. Set in position of perception line conditions. That opens all channel to another round line rotation. That sets position location into all calculation setting. In track location to another orb line rotation and set location.